Welcome to Zero to Fully Booked, where you're going to learn the mindset, client attraction, and sales strategies that you need to skyrocket your business. I'm Dawn Barson, and today I have Hilary here with me. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Dawn.
So, Hilary, why don't you just tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Absolutely. So our company is Hatch Tribe, and we work with women entrepreneurs, helping them build really profitable, powerful, and purposeful businesses. And the intention is very much around helping you get out of that early, and I use early loosely, struggle zone that captures so many entrepreneurs where it's like nothing feels like nothing feels like it's working. You feel like you don't have your feet on the ground, but you're like doing all the things, and helping you transition out of that struggling, exhausted, burnout state into a place of really operating your business as a brilliant CEO. And that's exactly what you have to do in order to build a thriving, growing business.
Yeah, so important. Thank you. Yeah, the work you're doing is absolutely amazing and so important. So today we have a really exciting topic, and this topic is helping you to build the foundation of your business. So we want this amazing, thriving business without all the struggle and the overwhelm, but there are definitely pieces that need to go into that. So today we're going to be talking about one of the foundations for actually growing your business. So can you talk a little bit about what that is? What is that one foundation we're going to talk about today?
Yes, the one piece we're going to talk about today that is critically important for all businesses is your email list. You have got to have it. You need to foster it. You need to grow it. And this is something that's going to stick with you throughout the lifetime of your business.
Yeah, so definitely worth doing from the start, right?
Yeah, sure. If you're just getting started, by all means start it now, but no matter where you are in your journey, it is something that you should be giving attention to every single month, every single year.
Yeah, great. Okay. So how do we actually grow our email list? So there's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of stuff that people have tried that doesn't quite work. So what is something we can actually do to build our email list?
Yes. So I want to give you two parts of this. I think one is going to be yes, I've heard this before, which is, yeah, you need some form of a lead magnet, right? And this is the kind of thing that we create. It's something that's a little bit sexy. It's something we put out in front of our audience, in front of our ideal customers and clients, that they say, gosh, I want that. And typically that's something that's free. It's something that we are willing to give away that's really good content that helps our ideal customer or client. And it's very much the idea of paying it forward. So we don't have their business yet, but we want to earn it. And so by giving them something in the form of a lead magnet, in the form of a freebie, really helps do that. It front loads that conversation and it attracts them in. That's why it's called the magnet, right? But the other part, and I think that this is equally as important, is we have to invite our audience to join our list. And this is one of the things that I feel like we often are missing. Many business owners will say, well, yeah, of course you can sign up for my list. And I'm like, well, when did you last invite your audience to do that? Oh, I haven't. So yes, you can have the pop-up on your website, and yes, you can have a sign up form, but I want you to invite and encourage your fans and your audience wherever they are and wherever you are, invite them to join and invite them to get that lead magnet too.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point, because we tend to build it, put it there, and then think it's going to just like run itself.
Right.
Right. And people will just find it and see it and love it and download it, but we're not actually promoting it. And we're not actually letting people know it exists. And we'd love for them to get the value out of it.
Yeah, precisely. And I think this is the same problem of not putting our products or services out there and really asking people to buy. So if we're going to create it, our next step always is to really put it into our marketing and seed it and put a really solid call to action with it and ask people to engage with it. So we have to do both. So it's not enough just to create a lead magnet and a landing page. We need to be asking people and really inviting them is the word I would use. Invite
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I like that. Invite them. And because if it's created for them, it's value for them is the idea, right? The more value you're offering, of course, they're going to want this,
Yeah,
but they don't know about it maybe, or maybe they got busy
of
and just,
course.
got sidetracked. And so sometimes to your point, I think we don't ask enough. And so we just think, oh, we asked once, nobody wanted it. Okay, well, then we'll just move on. Or I don't want to annoy anyone, but people are just go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And we have to ask more than we think that we do.
100%. And I think this is actually a really great topic because there's two cues I like to give to our clients, which one is from a psychological standpoint, understanding how buyers operate, how humans operate, we need to see something 7 to 10 times for the light bulb to even turn on. And that's just for initial recognition. So that's underscores the importance of how many times you have to repeat the same message, and understanding all you're doing is turning the light bulb on. That's that brand awareness at the top of the funnel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to do that a number of times. But also, another cue I give my clients is put something in action and run it for 90 days, but give it your all in 90 days, because that's a beautiful window of time to get the light bulb of awareness to turn on, to continue to invite them to engage with you. And you get good data at the end of 90 days to actually measure. And so instead of making a decision just like, I don't think it's working, or feeling frustrated that it's not, I'm like, did you do it for 90 days and did you go all in? And if you
Yeah.
didn't, go back in.
Yeah. You know that, so let's talk about this for a second. I know it's definitely related to what we're talking about, but we could dive into this for an hour. But I think that this idea of consistency and not
Yes.
jumping ship in the middle of something before you've collected the data, or assuming you're doing something wrong because it's not instantaneous. Right?
Mhm.
So sticking with it long enough, because you could be this close
Yeah.
when
And
you turn it
often
on.
you are.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I
Yeah.
think that's where we have to remember, and I like to use athletes as like a good metaphor for this. I mean, you think about how much work and practice goes in. Let's just say I'm a basketball player. It's like, well, what's my practice? Well, every day I'm going to the court and I'm shooting hoops, but I'm practicing the right shots that I need to take, a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer from different spots on the court. I keep going back to practice. And if we look at ourselves as business owners, that's exactly what we're doing. If we're talking about marketing, and let's just use this example of inviting our clients to join our list. We have to practice that, just like that basketball player. And over time, the message starts to resonate with our audience and we start to get good. So just like the athlete will start hitting 2-pointers and 3-pointers and maybe, half court shots. It's like they get it, but they've put in the time and the effort and the energy. And so you can't bail out too soon. You're teaching yourself how to do it and you're teaching your audience what to do.
Yeah, really, really good
Mm.
point, that you're teaching yourself how to do it and you're teaching your audience. Those are really two really good points. I love that. All right. So consistency is the message here. Sticking with it
Yes,
for
you
90
got
days,
to. I
right?
think
So that,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
90
that's
is
a
my
great,
favorite.
yeah, I think that's a great thing. So if you could say, okay, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to stick with it for 90 days and go all in.
Mhm.
I love that. Don't just phone it in, go all in for 90
Yeah.
days and really put your effort in.
And I think the key is let's not judge the outcome. So the way I invite, my audience to think about it is just go do it. Like you've already decided what the strategy is. Don't judge the result. So all you need to do is just go execute it and execute, keep going. Once you
Yeah.
get 30 days, and I look at that, it's 30 days, let's look at the data and see if we can make a little tweak, but we're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We're just making a
Right.
minor, like
Yes.
a
Yes.
little change.
Yes.
Then go another 30 days and make another little change. And at the
Yeah.
end of 90, like you will have done it, but you're also building just a sense of confidence in your ability to market and to promote and to show up in your business. So it's like you get better in that 90 days too. And you
Yeah.
get better at being consistent. And that's so much on us. It's nobody else can make you do it but you. So
That
that is
is so true. That is so, so true. And the consistency and getting better at something is great too, because this is all
Mhm.
new. And even if you've been at this for a while, you're still up leveling and changing and doing new and different things. And so that process just should never be forgotten.
Right.
It's data collection,
Yeah, it
right? And
is.
it's
It totally
building
is.
muscle memory and getting good at something. It's practice. I like that. Yeah.
And I think too, social media, as much as we can love and hate it, for most of us, myself included, it's a love-hate relationship. But I think what's important is we separate out what we're seeing online from our experience. So
Yeah.
the experience for most humans is that we are toiling away at a lot of things, but we're still posting things that look amazing. It's our highlight reel. And we should not judge ourselves against that. And it's a conversation I often have, with my therapist, even like talking about how I judge myself relative to what I see. And I think it's important for us as business owners, as humans, that we recognize the work is always happening behind the scenes, but what you
Yeah.
may see may not be it. And so don't get disillusioned. The work that you're doing is the same work that you and I are doing. It's the same work that the girl next door is doing. We're all doing the same stuff, but we're just showing you something beautiful online. So don't
Yeah.
get lost in that.
Yeah.
Do the work because I'm doing it. I know you're doing it. Like, we are doing the work that we need to be doing. We're just not showing you all the unsexy stuff that's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important because everyone makes it look just so darn easy, but they haven't shown the process to get there,
Yeah.
right? They're showing the sexy part or the results that they've
Right.
accomplished, but it could have been 6 months, 8 months, 2 years to finally get
Yes.
to a point where that part looks amazing. So yeah, I think we actually have three foundations we're talking about.
Yes, we've got a lot of good nuggets in there.
Yeah, a lot of good nuggets. But I do think this is important because this is the kind of thing that if you walk away from this talk today and, Hilary gets you fired up about creating a lead magnet, and then you go try it, but you don't actually stick with it or evaluate it over that 30, 60, 90 days, you're going to think it didn't work, just flat out didn't work.
Mhm.
So this is an important piece that fuels the foundation, is that consistency and staying with it and going all in. So I think this is very important.
Yes, definitely. And I
Yeah.
think too, to go like a specific on this with a lead magnet, things that we would want to look at is the lead magnet itself attracting,
Yeah.
but also how we're promoting it and talking about it. And if we're running ads, how that's working. So we have different pieces actually to evaluate. So
Yeah.
again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You could have a solid lead magnet that, because, and you would know this, the feedback you're getting on it's good. People are like, oh my God, I love this. But maybe the marketing message isn't working where you're inviting people to get it.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. It's like the marketing message is good, but people don't like the lead magnet. Oh, cool. Then let's just change that. So
Yeah.
you've always got different little pieces to pull and to tweak. So it's like as a whole, lead magnets do work. We know
Right.
that. They
Right.
wouldn't be used to the prevalence that they are. And even though there's lots of people saying like they're passe now, I'm like, no, they're not, because every giant company and every small company that's successful are using them. And
Yeah.
they're using them as a means of building that email list because we know the value of that list to your business over time. So
Yeah.
they're important.
Yeah. 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 I do think that's important, and not being attached to the outcome, right? So
Of
like
course.
you said, this is what you said is perfect. Okay. So the lead magnet's not great. Good. Not,
Yes.
oh no, I'm horrible. I didn't do a good job, right? So we think that sometimes that like, oh, my message is terrible, and we kind of sink back, but it's good. This is data that we can now adjust,
Yeah,
right? And
definitely.
thinking of this as an excellent insight, not a hit of feeling like, oh, no one
No.
likes my thing.
No, and I
Yeah.
love a fail. I mean, as silly as it sounds, it's like if something doesn't work, I'm like, that's awesome because I don't need to do that again. I'll just do something else. And I think most business owners will always have more ideas than there are time in the day to
Yeah.
execute them.
True.
So who gives a crap? Go back into your arsenal of ideas, pull the
Yeah.
next one and go run at it. But don't get hung up in judgment of yourself or the outcome. It's like it's all a learning curve, all of it.
Yeah.
And most businesses will tell you when they've done lead magnets, it takes some trial and error, to
Yeah.
figure out the one that really hums. I mean, we're still doing that. We iterate on them all the time.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
keep plugging in and keep honing it, and you're gonna change it. Like through the life cycle of your business, you will have different lead magnets because it continues again to serve your audience. So it's like just
Right.
tapping into what they need and really giving them something that's where the attraction happens.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I love that. So, okay, so we know that a list is super important to growing your business because you have control over that, right? Unlike social
Right.
media or any trend that's coming or going, who knows? Clubhouse is here. Who knows how long it stays? If we go all
Right.
in on that and it goes away, and that's where we got our business, we're kind of in
Yeah.
trouble, right? But this email list stays with us and continues to grow.
Yes.
So we have this lead magnet, this thing, it could be a number of. You want to talk a little bit about what it could what a lead magnet could be?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
gosh, there are, I think in our course, we actually have like 100 different ideas that you can use for lead magnets. So
Yeah.
there are lots of things, but some of the popular ones might be a webinar where you're hosting something and
Mhm.
you're inviting people to join and you're teaching them whatever it is that you do. It could be an ebook, a free download, whatever the download is.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're audio, sometimes they're videos, sometimes it's PDFs.
Okay.
Quizzes are also another great one. So we
Yeah.
were joking about this the other day, like the quiz that says, uh, want to know what type of hair you have, and it's like trying to tee up what kind of product or what type of product you should use.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes. So there's so many different ones you could use, but I think generally speaking, it's understanding your audience and how they consume content.
Right.
So if you know your audience is not likely to sit down and read, then give them an audio file or give
Yeah.
them a video file. But if they're not watching video, give them something fast they can flip through. So
Yeah.
it could be the same material, but in different formats. So
Okay.
those are some of the common ones that we would see, of
Yeah.
course, but there's so many
Yeah.
options.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Okay, so just to give everybody just an idea of the different types. So we have this lead magnet now, and we're attracting people in, and
Mhm.
it's working, and we're maybe into the 68th day, and we're
Yeah.
promoting it, and it's working. And so now what? So now we have all these people into our email list. What do we do with that list? I know sometimes people just really don't know what to do
Yeah.
next.
So great question. The first thing is anytime someone signs up for your list, you do want an automated response to come back out thanking them. And that really should be the automation. It's not you doing it manually. So it's set up. As soon as they sign up, they get the freebie. But there's also an email that comes after really thanking them and starting to introduce you and your business to them. And typically, what we suggest is that you're using a series of about 7 to 10 emails that you've already predetermined, and they come out in a sequence over the following couple of weeks, and you can decide the length of time, but they're really meant to nurture the relationship, and we want that. So it's like the example I like to give so we can think about why it doesn't work is, let's just say someone signs up for your email list, you send them the freebie, and then the next thing you send is like, buy my stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of like, meeting somebody for the first time and then being like, you want to get married? Like, well, probably not,
Right.
so we haven't warmed them up. We don't have a relationship yet. They don't really know us. So we've attracted them in, but we need to remember in like the construct of a marketing funnel, there's lots of things happening here, right? So we'll do a brief on this, but like at the top, it's awareness. And so in many cases, when someone signs up for your lead magnet, that's the first time they've seen your business.
Right.
It's the first level of awareness. And so at that phase, they are not particularly interested in buying anything. There's just something that, like, oh, that's cool. I want that. So the next phase in that marketing funnel is consideration, and interest. And so that's where we have two things happening. It's like the buyer is starting to turn on a light that says, gosh, I might need this. So they're starting to identify a pain or a problem or something they want to solve. And we want to start teeing up that we could be a good choice.
Right.
And this is where that nurture series really starts to play, is we're starting to showcase what it is that we do, but still really serving our audience. And so
Yes.
those two things come together. So it's like, oh, this is what I sell, and this is your problem. And we bring these together and we're offering it, but not like hard selling.
Yeah.
And then we really do need an email though that actually says like, hey, yo, I want you to buy from me. But it doesn't
Right.
come out in that language, right? So it's like book a free consultation, if you're doing
Yeah.
services, or it's like grab our $37 course or any number
Yeah.
of things. But we do want to actually put an offer in,
Yeah.
because some of those people throughout the course of that nurture series are going to start identifying their problem. They see that they have it. They now recognize they need a solution, and they're starting to buy in. But
Yeah.
if you don't offer your product or service, they're not buying it.
Right. Right.
So we want that. So a nurture series is really designed to develop the relationship, but also give you an opportunity to tee up a purchase.
Yeah, I love that. Right. So don't go in right for the sale. This is an opportunity to create connection and make sure that the person on your list is starting to become more and more aware of the problem, identifying it, and then also that you are, if not the only, but a potential solution
Of
to that
course.
problem. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. So that's great. And then what about, okay, so you have this 7 to 10 emails and at the, of connection and nurturing. And at the end, you make an offer. Then what happens? So you have all these people on your list. Let's say this lead magnet attracted 1,000 people.
Right.
And out of that 1,000, 10 people actually became clients of yours, but you still have 990 people who haven't yet become a client. So what do you do there?
Yeah. So this is where there's so many levels of sophistication, but I think for all intents and purposes, I like to keep this pretty narrow for most business owners, which is to say, after you've nurtured the relationship, and especially if you've gone through about 10 of those emails, and let's just say the last couple are you teeing up the offer, and then eventually it's just like they're not buying. That's cool.
Right.
Bring them into your primary list.
Okay.
So at that point, you've fostered the relationship, and now they're probably going to be interested to hear what the heck else is going on in your business. So, for example, you might be sending out a monthly newsletter to your audience, just teeing up all the things going on in your company and cool stuff. They're going to be receptive to that now because they already get it. Yeah. So I like to bring them into the main list. Now, in more advanced and sophisticated models, it would take them into other routing, right? So you could say, well, they said yes to this, so I'm going to put them in this funnel. They said no to this, I'm going to put them in this. I don't recommend that out the gate though. And it's just something that you need some time on. So I'm like, I'd rather see you grow your list and move all of them to your main list and run that, even if it's a couple of years before you ever go into the advanced route, because it gets a little convoluted and you really need different software to manage that. So, I think that you can do it, but you don't need to do that immediately.
Okay. That's helpful. Okay. So then in your main list, you're always nurturing your audience, right? Because you're sending them regular emails to keep them engaged, to remind them that you're there, value emails. And you can also, obviously, when you have a big promotion going, a big launch or promotion or new announcement, new program, that's when then you've continued to create this relationship, right? So then you have that opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. And I think remembering we can also get micro commitments out of our audience on other things. So let's just say you're sending out kind of updates, it's value driven. Your micro commitment might be like, check out this article or like us on Instagram or watch this video. And those are micro commitments that help, really deepen your relationship with your audience without asking them to buy. And I like to use about a 75-25 ratio. So it's like, if 25% of my messaging is related to sales, very specific sales driven, the other 75% is value driven. And that mix tends to work well for most businesses. And it's just a good reminder, like you can't go value driven all the time and not ask for the business.
Yeah.
You got to ask for the business.
Yeah. I think that's so important. And I see it done both ways. Either it's sell, 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 and people are scratching their head saying, nobody's buying, but I'm really pushing this. or they're just nurture, and never actually make an offer. So balancing that 75-20. Yeah, I like that.
Totally. And I think what you just illustrated is perfect. It's the two opposite ends of the funnel, right? So this nurturing is like, that's building brand awareness. That's the top of the funnel. The sell, 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 that's the bottom of the funnel decision. And what are we missing? The consideration component. And that's where it's like, we still need to be talking about the pain point and teeing up our solution without selling. And that's the piece that comes in the middle. So it's like, I want you to use the same vehicle, still send emails, still use social media, but note the messaging. It can't be all buy my stuff. And it can't be all, look at all this value that has nothing to do with what I'm selling. It's got to be in the middle. And that's where we win. And it's going to take some practice. So like, don't let this cause you to shut down and be like, I don't know how to do that. You're going to figure it out, but you figure it out through testing the messages and sending them out.
Yeah. Going back to that one of the first foundations we were talking about, practice and consistency and going all in. Totally. And giving it the time to actually give you answers so that you can make adjustments, and then not being tied to the outcome or the feedback.
Yes. Well, right. Right.
Not taking it personally. Yeah.
And I think it's important that we don't take the negative feedback personally or the positive feedback personally. It's like, it's all just feedback. So take it for what it's worth. It's like, I think there's a tendency to want positive feedback. I want it just as much as the girl next door, right? It makes me feel good. But Will I gravitate towards the negative feedback and over focus? Yeah, sure. But we need to remember that they both matter and they both don't matter, so it's
Yeah.
like, don't let it affect you. Just use the data point to be like, what actually needs to be tweaked, and understanding, like, if you have one negative piece of feedback, but like 10 radiantly positive, you
Yeah.
can probably dismiss this unless there's like one or two nuggets that you're like, they are right. I should fix that. Fine, cool, fix
Yeah. 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 And right. And not jumping on every little thing immediately, letting some data
No,
collect. One person does not create the consensus for
100%.
how it's going or not going, right? Some people are very opinionated one way or the other. Oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And wow, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And
Yes.
you have to get enough data to be able to say, okay, this is valid now, and I need
Yeah.
to make a change. And then remembering those moving parts, that was a really good point that you made, is that there are a number of moving parts potentially in what you're doing. So it
Mhm.
could be the title of the lead magnet. It could be the content of the lead magnet. It could be the promotion of the lead magnet. It could be so it could be a lot of things, and just giving yourself grace and time to look and
Right.
evaluate and stay committed. Yeah.
And
I
I
love
think
that.
that's where sometimes we get spun out and it feels like, gosh, there's so much, like, I don't know what to
Yeah.
change. And I think if I can give you a point on this, it's that only change one thing at a time. So let's use your example of like the headline on the lead magnet. Just change that.
Yeah.
Get three versions, four versions, test that. When
Yeah.
you land on the one that's working, keep that, then change the copy on the ad. And then
Yeah.
it's like, now on the copy on the ad, we could run four versions and then get it to the one that works. So now it's like, we've got the title of the lead magnet. We have one ad that's working. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, only change one thing at a time, because that keeps it from being overwhelming. And typically you don't need to test those variations as long. It's like, once it's already out, it can be a little bit shorter of a learning curve.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's a really good point, because then you can also not even know what you should be testing and change the wrong thing that's actually working.
Yes.
Right. One at a time. It's just like
Yeah.
anything else, is that you have to get that data to know. So yeah, I think that's amazing. So yeah, this has been absolutely fabulous. There's so many good nuggets in this, from actually how, what you do to create and and attract and nurture your
Yeah.
list, but also some of the other foundations and things that could get you hung up along the way, and how to like take a deep breath, have some grace, go all in, not be
Mhm.
attached, and just, keep tweaking, and you will get there for sure. You will get there.
That's right. It just takes some time. And really, that's it. I mean, think about the biggest businesses, like I used to work in the beer business for brands that had been around for a very long time, and they are still iterating their marketing. It doesn't go away. It doesn't matter how long you've been in business, whether it's 1 year or 100 years. And Miller
Sure.
High Life is a brand I used to work on. I mean, that is a over 100-year-old brand. Go back and look at their marketing. Just go search
Yeah.
it and you'll be like, whoa, there's things that stayed the same, like the iconic woman on the bottle. She's iterated a little bit, but she's still there. But
Yeah.
think about how much the marketing has changed. It
Yeah.
does, because you change, your business changes, your audience changes. So just
Yeah.
know it's all an iteration. It is not about getting it right. It's just about getting something that works
Yeah.
and then moving on. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. That's a really, really good point. I think it's worth it. If you guys go take a look at that, to look at the brand evolution and know that you're not alone. And this isn't just something that you're struggling with. This isn't even a actual struggle. It's just an iteration. And even
Yeah.
ad agencies, huge marketing agencies, don't land a campaign.
No.
Like, some of them are amazing, and others, really were just like, wow, we thought that was going to work and it didn't.
Yeah.
So it's good to
Happens
know
all the
that.
time.
Yeah, right. All the time. So that's just an important thing, that there's absolutely, it's all about trial and error to some degree, using formulas and systems, but the pieces and parts, trial and error, and
Yeah,
sticking with it. Yeah, I love it.
definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This was so great. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Yeah. So hatchtribe.com is our website. And on all the social media, we're at hatchtribe, HATCHTRIBE. And then I'm on Instagram. So if you just want to connect with me personally, it's Hilary PJ.
Great, 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 great. Okay. And you have a really special gift for this audience that I want you to talk about for a second. It's
Yeah.
really, really special.
Thanks. I'm stoked for this. This is one of our favorite courses, and it's called Capture and Convert. And it is exactly what we've been talking about today. So Capture is about capturing the leads, and convert is about getting the sale and what needs to happen in between, which is what we've talked about, really nurturing those leads and making sure that you're developing out that relationship. And so this is a course that we're going to give you for absolutely free. So it's just an opportunity to learn from soup to nuts how to do it. And one of the things that I really love that's in there is a way to put up different ideas that you have for a lead magnet. It's a lead magnet evaluator. And you plug in all the different ideas that you have, and then you rank them on some different criteria, including things like, how confident am I in putting this together? Do I have the skill set for it? Can I do it quickly? And it will tell you in like a numerical fashion which one is the best way to start. And so you can pick one of those ideas and then go from there. So I'll walk you through all of it, soup to nuts, and really teach you how to use this in your business.
So amazing. Yeah, that'll be such a huge help for everyone, and getting a little bit deeper into this topic if it's new to you, or if you've been struggling with it for a while. So it's such a generous offer. So thank you. And it's just free for this audience.
Yes.
Everyone else pays for this amazing course. So keep that in mind. And yeah, it was so absolutely amazing to have you. This was so fabulous. I know that everyone is going to take away so much from today's talk.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Dawn. It was awesome to be here and talk about this.
Thank you.